Before I watched the film Misery, I asked the general public whether it was a really graphic film. And I watched Misery, and all I can say is you absolute lying bastards. You said that there was no graphic scenes of violence. I think you forgot to mention the scene when someone's guts gets blown out by Annie Wilkes. Right, so let's start. Misery. Brilliant title. Absolutely brilliant title, because it's exactly about misery. I mean, Paul Sheldon in total misery, being tortured by this woman. And I thought, there were hardly any scenes of graphic violence, which is good. I mean, I don't want to watch something where, people's having their head cut off or something like that, I don't know whether that'd be allowed on television, but, Right, so I like the beginning, Paul Sheldon and Annie Wilkes, and, they're getting on really nicely, and she has a couple of fits, she goes a bit crazy, and there's this one scene that sticks out in my mind where she pretends she's a pig, and she sort of goes, which I thought was totally out of character. Totally out of character, she's I just thought it was totally crazy she did this impression of a pig. I just thought it was crazy. Brilliant actress to play Kathy. To play Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates, who played Molly Brown in Titanic. Different character. Oh yeah, Molly Brown is a sweet, loving thing. New money, of course. And Kathy Annie Wilkes is a crazy, mad psychopath. I like Misery. I think it's a good film. I wouldn't buy it because it's not a brilliant film, but it's quite a good film. It is quite amazing how he tries to escape. He crawls and crawls and he tries to kill her. And he tries to kill her in so many ways. Try to stab her, try to poison her. And she's invincible, isn't she, this woman? Fucking hell. She's invincible, this Annie Wilkes. God, first of all, she got whacked round the head by a fucking typewriter. Then, she had her face scratched off. She's tripped over and she smacks her head on the typewriter. And I absolutely knew that she was going to come back alive again and pull his legs or something, just grab onto him. Because she bloody she grabs onto her life, doesn't she? She doesn't want to die. Although she wants to die, of course. She wants to kill herself, and then she gets hit by this sort of statue thing, and then she's finally dead. And you have this horrific, and I mean horrific, image of her lying there like some sort of Chucky doll, and her eyes are really bold, and she's limped and dead. And it's really horrible. The blood is absolutely, totally terrible. That blood just looks like ketchup. I mean, it really does. They've sprawled it all over her face, and it does look terrible. Then she gets knocked up, and then she gets tripped over, and she smacks her head on the typewriter, and then that's proper blood. That's good blood. So, good moments. Well, obviously, the scenes when Paul's trying to escape are brilliant. He just tries to really, find a way out, and he picks the locks, and he gets out. And other good scenes. I love the scene when Paul finds that book of memories, and he finds out that Annie is actually extremely insane. And she's been killing people for a long time, killing these babies, and of course the psychological side of it is obviously the main part of the film. I don't think she's as crazy as people think. I mean, I think she's crazy, but I don't think I don't think the whole film's about psychological, trying to get into the minds of people. I don't think so. No. That scene when she breaks his legs again, that is disgusting. She literally smacks his leg, and you can see the foot go, and that's a horrible scene, disgusting. But no, I do love the performances of Kathy and Paul Sheldon and James Caan doing the parts. So yeah, it's a good film. But the most graphic scene of the whole thing is when they shoot that man, Buster, and all that his whole bloody stomach comes out. And I wasn't expecting that. I knew that I knew that Annie was probably going to kill him, but I didn't realise it's a very sudden death, you know. You think, yay! Buster's found Paul Sheldon! Bang! He's dead. In the Family Guy spoof, they shoot off his legs, which I think would have been nicer. I like that scene when he gets shot because I think, wow, that's a very good effect. But still, it was a very disgusting effect, you know. The scene when Annie asked him to burn his book, that's a very graphic scene. I mean, she's sort of like, come on, Paul, you gotta do this, you know. And she was very crazy, you know. Crazy woman, very crazy, yes. It does, I mean, I would love to do a parody of this. I think it'd be really good. Because she's got the same sort of voice as Rose DeWitt Bukato, so it's kind of, you know, so that same sort of accent, you know, so Rose sounds like, you know, you are so annoying, and Kathy Bates is like that as well, so you could do that as a voice. Of course, I can do Molly Brown, you know. You're gonna cut a foo-far there too, Cal. You know, she's a pistol, Cal. Hope you can handle her. You know, I can do that, but you know, I think the thing about acting is, you know, I get the voices for people because I've listened to what they sound like. So, for example, in that scene when Molly says, "Hope you can handle her," that's how she says it. She says, "Handle her," like that. So you learn it that way. That's how I do all my voices. You know. And sometimes it's very difficult to do a voice, you know, writing a new line, because you don't know how to say it, you know. So, and Jack is very difficult as well, Jack Dawson is. So, I don't know what more to say about this film. It's a very good film. I mean, I've only watched it once, you see. But this film, I think, isn't going to be as bad as Stand By Me, which got in my head and really annoyed me, you know. It's a good film, Stand By Me, an absolute fantastic film. But it got inside my head terribly, it made me go crazy, so... that's what Skins did to me, you know. This thing, Skins. One day I shall get rid of it, and someone will buy it for their own. I've tried to sell that DVD, I tell you, for about 3 years. No one wants it. I mean, I've charged rock bottom prices. I think I'm selling it now for £12. £6. £6. You buy the whole Series 1 and Series 2 for £12. I think that's a good offer. I mean, I've got to get something out of it, haven't I? So, I don't know what tomorrow... I mean, this is a question I'm putting to everyone now. What movies from Stephen King are good? You know, he's written some books, right? Which ones that have been made into movies, which ones are good? Which ones would you recommend? I've watched The Shawshank Redemption is in fact my second favourite movie of all time. I've watched Stand By Me one. Stand By Me, is that a Stephen King book? I think it is. Yes, it is, yes. Stand By Me. And I've also watched Misery, obviously. So what other ones are good? But these are the guidelines. No violence. But violence, I mean, I've watched Misery now, so I know that I can stand being someone being shot like that. But, you know, not too violent. I mean, I don't want to see blood and gore all the way through the movie, which is what Stephen King mostly did. But what ones are really, really, really good? Which ones, I mean, in a film point of view, good actors, good people playing the parts, which ones would you say are the best? I mean, obviously, Family Guy picked Misery, Stand By Me, and The Shawshank Redemption because they were all brilliant ones, but I don't know what other ones. I'm tempted to watch And Then There Were Fewer, which is a Family Guy parody, and I want to see the original of that, but I don't dare, because that would be totally full of blood and gore. No, but tomorrow I will probably watch Jekyll and Hyde, because I haven't seen that in a while, and I do love Jekyll and Hyde. 1941, best version ever. So, yeah. Richard Farnsworth was Buster. Virginia was Frances Schwacker. I read the Bible today, and there was a person with a really funny name, and I wish I'd read it out. It's so funny. So this says oh, and Libby was played by Gaddafi.